So today's video is about mindfulness and just some thoughts that I've had recently based on conversations that have come up. I have been doing some work at a addiction treatment center, and it's been really powerful and really amazing, and I've really been enjoying it. I was brought on to do yoga and mindfulness practices, and so I find myself repeating the same thing over and over again. And so if this message maybe reaches anybody and kind of makes sense and helps you explore mindfulness in a different way or a new way, then I'm really excited to hear that. Also, this is my sweet little goat yoga cup. I definitely specifically picked this cup for this video because it's super cute and I love it so much. Okay, so back to mindfulness. So I think there is a big misconception about like how a mindfulness practice starts. So some of the things that I've been hearing or that seem to be happening that overwhelms people and just deters them right from the get-go to engage in mindfulness practices is this conception that like you have to meditate for long periods of time, or that you have to be at an expert level of meditation and you should have no thoughts running through your head. And it is a practice, so you do have to start and kind of start in a small doses and really build your stamina and your ability to bring your focus back into the present. So that's really what it is, right? It's just practicing bringing your focus back into the present without judgment and just detaching from your thoughts or detaching from the emotion behind it and allowing, I love how Headspace kind of cues you through it, is allowing your thoughts to pass through like a car on the street or like a movie scene. So I use that one often because I really like that visual. But again, you're just like bringing awareness to what's happening in your mind, in your body. A lot of times we'll do that with meditation practices, with breath work, with yoga, all really good practices. So again, people will sometimes just be deterred from meditation or mindfulness because they feel like they have to sit and meditate for 30 minutes. And that seems really overwhelming. And for sure it does. Even when I was meditating regularly, I'm kind of getting back into it, but 30 minutes was a long time, and it's a long time to sit. It's can be physically uncomfortable in your body, and depending on where you are emotionally, it could be really hard to just sit and be with yourself and in your own thoughts. So there's that. So really what I encourage people to do is just start really small, is maybe do 1 or 2 minutes, and then build your way up as you go. So there's that piece. The other part is just this thought that you're gonna be in this Zen zone, maybe that you're gonna start levitating. That would be amazing. I would love to levitate, honestly. But that like these grand things are going to happen and that you're going to be completely free of any sort of thought. And that's just not the way it is. Like our brain wants a job to do. And so if we are awake, it's going to think of our to-do list. It's going to drift back to a conversation that we had, maybe an argument. It might move off into the future and start anticipating things that are coming up. So the brain is going to just kind of like ping pong between all of these things. And then the job or the work is to just like gently bring it back. Again, not beating yourself up for your brain wandering off. It's just like a little puppy off the leash. It's just going to kind of wander off, and then you gently guide it back. And that's really like all you're doing. And you're just practicing that, right? Like it's a practice. So you may not get to this expert level, but you're going to continue to bring it back. And you might notice that you go longer periods of time, that it becomes easier. Again, that you're just detaching from the emotion of your thoughts. God, what a beautiful thing. Like when you're really struggling with anxiety or depression, my people in like recovery, and there's so much people with trauma, like, man, to be free from that is really a powerful thing, even if it's just for a couple moments. So that's part of the practice. But one of the things that we've kind of been talking about, because I think some people are on board with meditation, with yoga, with doing, breathing activities, but that's not for everybody. So when I work with clients that are struggling with that, one of the things that we've really been talking about is how can we be mindful in our everyday lives, and how can that be the start of our practice? So the example that I always share, and I'll share with you guys, is when I eat. If you know me, you probably know that probably 70% of my meals are eaten in the car or standing. And I just shovel my food in my face. There's like no mindfulness whatsoever to it. I'm usually like on my phone sending out emails or on the computer or just like doing 1,000 other things besides just focusing on my food. And so when I'm in group and we all set commitments or intentions for the week, mine is typically I'm going to be more mindful about my eating, and I fail miserably. I almost think that I want to do an Instagram post on my eating habits, but it'll, like, I wish I had like a photographer or somebody to follow me around, so that way it would be a lot more authentic. Because if I have to stop and photograph myself like standing over the stove eating out of the pot, then that's pretty bad. Or like when I'm driving, obviously I can't take pictures because I'm eating, so I'm too busy to take a picture of myself while I'm driving eating. And I often choke on my food because, again, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm just like shoveling stuff in to like check that box. So that like brings me to my next point is like, can we pick something in our life, or the same point, I guess, that we can do mindfully instead of just doing it to check the box? So for me, it's like maybe it's just sitting down and eating, spending 20 minutes over a meal, actually like not doing other stuff and just enjoying my food, tasting my food, really like embracing that moment. I've had clients say that like they're just going to be more intentional or mindful of conversations and what their feelings are as they come up, and really just like tune into themselves and attune to the other person. And I think that's a pretty powerful mindfulness practice. Some of the other things that I've tried is like when I'm driving, when I notice I'm really stressed out and I feel like I can't do other stuff, is I will just like get rid of all my distractions. So oftentimes I'll listen to podcasts or music or whatever, but I will like go completely silent during my drives, so I can just give my brain the best chance in those moments to kind of reorganize information, to process stuff. And it's been really effective. Like I would say that there's a lot of times when I'm driving in silence that I have been able to like have some cool ideas, and I'll send myself a little memo. Very similarly to when I meditate and like creativity comes out. What are some other things? Like, I lost my train of thought. Happens a lot. So I just want to encourage that if you're thinking about like, if you understand like the benefits of mindfulness, how it can really promote mental wellness, but you've been a little deterred because maybe you're not interested in meditation, you've tried it and you've struggled, yoga's not your thing, maybe it's just really hard for you to sit and find stillness and calmness. Maybe that is a tough place to start. And so maybe you want to just do something else, like brush your teeth mindfully. Just really like experience the bristles along your teeth, the sensations that it comes up with. Maybe like give yourself a time instead of just like doing it really quickly. Maybe do it for a little bit longer period of time, and then just really sit with the whole experience, all the sensations, be aware of your thoughts that happen. Maybe do it like enjoying your cup of tea. Maybe it's eating dinner, whatever it is, driving, all those things. I think it could be a really powerful start. And honestly, like sometimes we are really busy and it's really hard to fit one more thing into our plate. And so the more that you can do to make it a little more organic and natural in your life is probably going to be better, because you're not going to be stressed out about it. And the last thing you want to do is just feel really forced in your meditation practice, or like whatever mindful practice you choose. It almost defeats the purpose of it. So I encourage you to just start wherever feels right and feels like you can just make it happen without there being a lot of friction.